Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang. On tonight's program, the waiting game in Williams Lake.
Looking a little bit more positive than yesterday, but we're still under alert.
10,000 people still on standby, ready to leave at any time.
Scared of losing my home, my cows.
Across BC, some are trying to help.
Cloth diapers, sorry. Cloth diapers. Kids' clothes, everything.
But others are trying to hurt.
He said, send me another $200. So then right away I was like, oh, I got scammed.
Also, a slew of criminal charges for that driver in Burnaby who ran over a traffic flagger.
Oh my God!
And the experts were right. The Bank of Canada has increased interest rates, and the big banks didn't waste a second in increasing their mortgage rates accordingly. CBC Vancouver News at 6 starts right now. Lots to get to tonight, but we begin with breaking news. A wildfire near Sooke on Vancouver Island has spread to at least one home and closed a long stretch of a nearby highway. Now, that fire is burning in the 4400 block of Sooke Road near Kangaroo Road in Metchosin. Firefighters from Sooke responded earlier this afternoon. Fire officials have confirmed that the blaze has spread to some structures. Highway 14 between Sooke and Langford has been closed to traffic because of the fire, and the BC Wildfire Service says it is sending firefighters and a helicopter to help. Now, we're going to bring you more information as we get it, so stand by for that.
Weather that they anticipated coming in isn't moving as fast as they thought it would. Actually, the wind has changed and it's blowing the other way for a bit.
Despite calm winds for much of the day, it is tense in Williams Lake tonight. Residents are waiting for updates on the fire burning west of the city. We are now 48 hours into the evacuation alert there, something that could turn into an evacuation order if that wildfire burning about 10 kilometers away takes a turn. As it stands right now, the big fire of concern, that one burning west of the city at White Lake. It's about 2,800 hectares large, but BC's Wildfire Service says it is about 60% contained. Still lots of work to do, though, something everybody in Williams Lake is very conscious of. Many are planning for the worst, making sure they're registered and preparing to leave the city.
A lot of frustrated people, a lot of stressed out people because, they've had to, leave to go to Prince George. I myself, I'll probably be, as soon as they give the word on the evacuation, I'm already registered, so I'm just going to talk to the Blue Cross and get ready for, proceeding with my plan to totally evacuate right to Prince George if that comes to that, right?
Now, amidst the exhaustion and the worry, there is a tiny bit of good news. Today, we learned the number of active wildfires has dropped from more than 200 to 183. But there are still more than 20 wildfires threatening communities, and evacuation orders have been expanded for the Thompson-Nicola Regional District, including properties near Hallamore Lake, Electoral Area A, and Clearwater, as well as properties north of Dunn Lake. And nearby, fire crews are still tackling hotspots near 100 Mile House. Now that's where we find the CBC's Briar Stewart. And Briar, how are things looking up where you are today?
Well, Andrew, the wind has really picked up here in the last hour or so, and for the most part it was kind of a calm day, but there was enough wind for crews in 100 Mile House to do a controlled burn. That's something they had actually tried to do yesterday, but didn't work because the weather didn't cooperate. What they did this afternoon was they basically ignited a fire to burn around the two mills in the community. They wanted to protect, those pieces of critical infrastructure, but it would also help perform a guard to protect the rest of the community. So that was something that they say went pretty well. It was able to burn for a couple of hours, and it just recently, over the last half an hour or so, we've started to see some of the water skimmers, the planes, fly over various fires, dropping water to help fight them as well.
And Briar, I understand you were actually able to get into the fire zone today. Tell us what you saw.
Yes, we were escorted in this afternoon to take a look at just how things are progressing in 100 Mile House. As for the town itself, I mean, it was basically deserted because most of the residents have evacuated. The only people that are left there are the ones fighting the fires. We did see firefighters working on a stretch of land, basically where the fire had jumped the fire guard on Sunday. So they were using hoses to put out hot spots and basically saturate the ground because they wanted it so wet that if there was wind, the fire wouldn't flare up again. Now, the decision made to evacuate was made on Sunday, and it was made by officials, including the local mayor. I spoke with him today just about what it was like to have to make that decision, and here's some of what Mayor Mitch Kamsel had to say.
What was that like for you to have to do that?
Not good. Not good. It was really tough. We knew we had to do it, and again, you look at it, the fact that you feel that, you know, this could be the end of our community. And so we did it, and we're happy we did it.
Now, residents have been told that by the mayor and by officials that it will be at least another 6 days before they're able to return here to 100 Mile House.
Right, 6 days, a long time to wait. So what's the plan? I mean, what's the strategy just in a few hours or the next couple days?
Well, I mean, they're trying to make progress on this fire, obviously. There are 130 firefighters working on it. We saw those firefighters working on that section today, putting out hot spots. There are firefighters working further north. You know, we're seeing planes and helicopters from above. So there is a lot of work going on, and officials say they're making progress. But people are still really anxious about the weather. As I said, the wind picked up here in the last hour, and it is the weather that really plays such a big factor in this. And over the next few days, temperatures are supposed to be warm again, and you know, really no major precipitation in the forecast at all. So that still leaves people quite nervous about where things could go from here, Andrew.
Okay, Briar Stewart reporting for us near 100 Mile House. Thanks. Now, up in Prince George, volunteers are standing by, prepared to receive thousands more evacuees should wildfires push more and more people out of their communities. The CBC's Carolyn Dunn has more from Prince George.
At the University of Northern British Columbia, they're transforming the indoor soccer field into a makeshift shelter for up to 460 people. Jerry Weirs is a welder for the city of Prince George who was called in to help.
If this is the only place they can go, like, it means a lot to them, that's for sure.
It's taking hundreds of volunteers in Prince George to host the several thousand people who have fled their homes. People like the Culp family who left Williams Lake when the fire was near and the smoke just too overwhelming.
It's scary. I guess that's the word for it, scary. You don't know what's going to happen. Go to bed at night and go to sleep and you wonder.
Raymond and Flossie Stump's community of Alexis Creek is under evacuation order.
The fire started on the other side of the river from...
Safe now, the Stumps are a bit frustrated by seemingly endless lineups for evacuees, but overwhelmed by the help.
I just can't thank them enough because they're doing a lot for us.
Not all evacuees are people. Yes, those are chickens in a car. 17 of them to be precise.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, she's pretty.
A team of volunteers is looking after them, as well as nearly 200 equine evacuees at the local exhibition grounds.
Honestly, like, if one of the horse community knows if one of us is in trouble, we're all in trouble, and just doing what I can.
Daryl Barton and his family got out of 150 Mile House with 8 horses. For rural families like his, saving livestock and horses means everything.
Well, you can't put that into words. You really can't. We pulled in here, we were met by, I don't know, 20, 30 people. Hay, storage, like, you know, they've just been fantastic.
The Costin family wanted to help too.
Like a hug.
So Samantha and her 3 kids gave out free hugs to people in need of comfort. As people continue to arrive, the need for generosity grows. The city will open a volunteer registration center tomorrow, counting on thousands of its citizens to see their neighbors through disaster. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Prince George, British Columbia.
So look, over the next couple hours, a lot of people will be crossing their fingers and hoping that Mother Nature cooperates. Our meteorologist, Johanna Wagstaff, tracking all of this. What are you seeing?
It's been a real mixed bag of weather conditions today across the province, and things are still changing as we head into the evening. This trough, or sort of this front, has been tracking across the province. The concern was that it would bring fresh lightning strikes, dry lightning and gusty winds to the southern interior. So far, those strikes have been confined to the Prince George area, although getting a good round of thunder and lightning and even some heavy downpours in the Prince George area where so many evacuees are. The lightning strikes, though, not affecting the south. The winds for the better part of the morning and the better part of the day were fairly calm, but they are starting to pick up again as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours, especially across Vancouver Island, seeing some 30+ kilometer gusts. And that's actually because of a second front that will cross the south coast overnight. One more shot of thunderstorms and gusty winds tomorrow afternoon. And then the story as we head into the end of the week, hot and dry once again. No soaking rain in the forecast.
Okay, thanks very much, Joe.
You're welcome.
Now, as crews continue their fight on the front lines, local residents are doing their part to care for evacuees. In Kamloops, 6 women have started a collection for those forced to flee. Belle Puri met them today.
Cloth diapers, kids' clothes, everything.
It's a grassroots effort launched by 6 women who saw a need and stepped up to fill it.
The first night we were here till 6 in the morning. We got here at 4 in the afternoon, left at 6 in the morning.
Went home, showered, and came back. And we've been pretty much here. We went home last night to get some sleep.
In a matter of hours, the pop-up relief center was overflowing with donations and with evacuees happy to use it.
When we came in and we got our ESS form, it's the hardest shop of your life of what do you need, for how long do you need it for, what do you grab.
In just over a day, it's estimated the outlet has helped 400 people.
All our volunteers here are making sure that they bring ID, that they are evacuees. We have a plan set up that they get so much in so many bags so that we can distribute it to everybody and that it's fair and that everybody gets enough products.
Local businesses have pitched in with pallets of supplies. Residents have brought in clothes, many of them unused. The center is open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and will live in this hotel meeting room until at least July 20th. But the need will likely continue right through the summer, so plans are underway to find a more longer-term location. This is just one example of people wanting to help other people. Dozens of volunteers showed up to help sort through a trailer of goods newly arrived from Fort McMurray, Alberta. The Kamloops Food Bank has become a staging area to process and distribute goods to the fire front lines in various communities.
We've contacted the Prince George Salvation Army, asked them what type of items they could use right away. They've let us know. We're going to do 8 to 10 pallets up them right away today.
2 more truckloads of donations are expected here from the Lower Mainland by the end of the week. And more of the same is happening at the other donation center.
Somebody contacted me. They're bringing a truck and trailer load from Vancouver Island. They want a phone number and what we need.
Often in emergency situations, official agencies like the Red Cross say cash is better than donations. Evacuees disagree.
I signed up with Red Cross and I haven't got anything yet. I signed up on Monday, but this is phenomenal. This is helping me out a lot.
What we were hearing was, this is what we need. We need clothes, we need food, we need toiletries, and we're not receiving them.
Organizers recognize the need for help may well continue for weeks. The key is to help now, but also to be prepared to help down the road.
You're welcome.
Belle Puri, CBC News, Kamloops.
Now, amidst all that generosity, there are also opportunists, crooks, people preying on those who've been forced to flee their homes. One evacuee we spoke to today told us that she lost the last little bit of cash she had in her bank account to a scammer. Now, Leanne Young has been looking into that story. And so, Leanne, how did it happen?
Well, Andrew, when you're in a tough position, you look for help. And when you learn to trust someone, that's how it happens sometimes. Jennifer Fournier was forced to leave her home by 105 Mile House on Friday. She's a cat breeder, so she has a lot of cats, 18 of them to be exact, and kids and a husband. So she packed everything up and moved to her mom's place while they looked for another place to stay. She posted a Kijiji ad and earlier this week saying she's a wildfire evacuee and looking to rent a house. Now, this is the view from her house before she left. Almost immediately after her ad went up, she got a text. The person said they were a couple that owned a second home in Vernon. They were willing to let her live there for $700 and she could stay as long as she needed. Fournier thought it sounded too good to be true, so she texted back and forth with this person and spoke to them on the phone. They said that the husband was a firefighter. They're from Fort McMurray, so they understood what it was like and they just wanted to do something nice. They texted over photos of the house, sent over the names of their kids. As you can see, there's the photo of the house there. She even said that she was worried about being scammed, and they responded by saying they're equally scared about letting a stranger live in their home. The address and the photos of the house looked quite legitimate on Google Maps, so Fournier sent over the last $350 that she had in the bank via Interac. But she still felt uneasy, so she asked a friend to go and check it out. Turns out there was no house at that address.
And then when I called him on it, he's just like, oh, I'll just send you your money back then. I'm so glad I didn't go through with this. And when I asked him to go meet the person that I sent there, he said, send me another $200 and then I'll go meet him. So then right away I was like, oh, I got scammed. And it's pretty horrible, especially with everything I'm going through right now.
This isn't the only example of some people who are taking advantage of others who are vulnerable right now. In Quesnel, the mayor was notified after someone went around posing as fire marshals, telling residents they were on evacuation alert. He was told the person wore all black with a high visibility vest and went door to door. Here's the thing, Quesnel isn't on evacuation alert, and even if they were, no one would go door to door. He suspects the individuals were looking for an opportunity to break and enter.
It makes you very angry that you've got people adding to the crisis that we're in and to the fear and to the, the stress level that people already have. I know some people in the community feel that vigilante justice is warranted at this time. We don't want that to happen. But that's the degree of anger that you get, that some individuals would take advantage of such a situation.
So, Leanne, what are people being advised to do to avoid being scammed like this?
Well, Andrew, the officials I spoke to today said it's pretty much buyer beware. Police are asking everyone to be cautious. In Jenny's case, really, she maybe shouldn't have sent the money over, but it's pretty much untraceable now. Lots of people are keen on making donations right now, so the Better Business Bureau did release some tips. If someone is going door to door asking for money, be wary. Most charities don't solicit donations that way. You want to check Canada Revenue Agency's website to see if the charity is a legitimate one. And try to ask for ID, avoid just handing over cash. And if you are paying online, use portals such as PayPal, which have added layers of security. And ask lots of questions, prod them on the organization's mission and how they can help. The Better Business Bureau also says to be careful about crowdfunding sites. They're easy to set up. The organizer can do whatever they want with the funds because at the end of the day, they're not actually a registered charity. And ultimately, in situations like these, when you're stressed or emotional, just be on high alert because you're vulnerable, and that's when con artists like to come out. Andrew?
Okay, thanks very much, Leanne.
You're welcome.
British Columbians forced from their homes by raging wildfires. The past few days have been unimaginably stressful, filled with danger and uncertainty. And the emotional and psychological toll of their experience is very real.
Lines are dead. Oh my goodness, I would go fast.
From narrow escapes as wildfires close in on their homes, to not knowing where they will sleep or how they'll be able to get essentials like food or medicine. Evacuees have been through a lot, and now many are living in limbo, waiting for word that they can go home and wondering if their home is still standing. Still others have already received the bad news. Their homes were destroyed by fire.
We lost everything, and so did everybody else in the trailer park.
Very, very stressful. I've changed my mind about 10 times about whether or not to get out.
We never thought we'd ever see anything like this. Yeah, it was really scary.
Now, with so many people facing such a huge range of uncertainty and stress, there is a real need for trained, qualified help. People whose expertise it is to help people cope in times of crisis. So joining us right now, someone who's actually planning to make a trip to Prince George, one of the evacuation centers there in order to offer her services. That's Becca Shears, who's a registered clinical counselor, joining us out of Vanderhoof, which is just about an hour outside of Prince George. And so, Becca, can you walk me through your decision to go to Prince George? What is it that you're hoping to accomplish there?
Well, I've actually emailed a number of counselors that I know in Prince George to see if we can get a group of us there. I've talked to somebody at College of New Caledonia, and they need help, and they need people who are there to provide support, but also there may be people who are adversely affected and traumatized on a severe level that may need some further assessment and follow-up. So I'm just going to see where I can be utilized best.
And so how does that work exactly? I mean, so you arrive at the front doorstep, you have these expertise, the skill set. Are you approaching people? Are you trying to talk to them, have conversations? I mean, what are you looking for?
Well, I have a plan personally, whether that gets fulfilled or not. It's a loose plan. I'm hoping to put out flyers and create some small groups where if people need support, they can come and access that in a small group. There's going to be a number of us there that are counselors, and there are people already there that are exhausted, and I want to be checking in with the frontline helpers, the volunteers, and making sure that they get a break, that they're taking care of themselves, because self-care in these times it tends to be on the back burner. So just making sure that they are equipped so that they can help, and that they and then maybe there's more people that are being affected themselves that just need somebody to talk to and process what's happened.
And Becca, while all of this is going on, you making the trip out to Prince George looking to help, I'm curious, do you have family that's nearby that's been affected by the wildfires?
I do. I have two sisters in Williams Lake. They are both dispersed, and one of them has 11 kids, 9 of those she adopted, and they are camping right now. They are well-resourced and an amazing family, and they had to leave over 100 animals behind. So they're probably having the hardest time because they had to open the gates, leave lots of food and water, and walk away. So those kids are really struggling, as are a lot of families. So the more you kind of insulate yourself from the media, social media during these times, the better it is, I think, for those families to get through this time. So that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, Becca, clearly you have a lot on your mind, and I'm sure the decision to go help wasn't an easy one, but perhaps motivated by the fact that you have so much at stake yourself personally. Thank you so much for touching base with us. We appreciate hearing from you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Well, at the Emergency Operations Center in Kamloops, some people are working 12 to 16-hour days, trying to keep the region from burning. These are the people who take calls from all over the area and dispatch firefighters to get those blazes under control. It is exhausting work, and Jesse Johnston got a first-hand look at what they do.
Bravo Sierra Fox Fire Center, go ahead.
This is the nerve center for firefighting activities around Kamloops. These phones haven't stopped ringing since last week. The exhausted people you see here are putting in just as many hours as the firefighters themselves.
So a good average would probably be to say that people have been working anywhere from 12 to 12-hour days to even longer than that. Sometimes we're looking at even 15, 16-hour days.
Make no mistake, firefighters are putting in long hours too. Firefighters like Adam, who is concentrating on getting smaller fires under control before they have the chance to grow into raging infernos.
So we've been able to get out to small little incidental things before they gather any size, and with these trucks that we have it's pretty quick and easy to put water on it, guard it, and make sure it's out before it gets too big.
Heading out day after grueling day in heavy firefighter gear under a blazing sun can take its toll. Days spent in front of a computer coordinating the firefighting efforts can be grueling too.
We do have regulations around how long people may work because we don't want to burn anyone out or bring them to a point where they're unable to rest and make the best decisions.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I think a lot of the time when we're out there, adrenaline keeps us going and just being focused on the task at hand. It isn't until you finish the day and you hop in the truck you realize how sore your feet are and how sweaty you are and how hungry you are.
When you know that at any time you could wind up on the next plane to wherever the next fire may be, adrenaline can be your best friend. Jesse Johnston, CBC News, Kamloops.